Alright guys, so we're going to get started on our first project. Now with all the projects we're going to be using our Bootstrap 4 starter pack. If you did not go through and create it in the last section, you can download it from this repository, you can clone it, or you can just download the zip. So what we're going to do is grab the Bootstrap 4 starter files that we created. So that's the source folder, the gulp file, and the package.json, and copy those, and then we're going to create a new folder called Loop Lab, which will be our project folder. Okay, and we're just going to paste those files in, and then we simply need to open up a command line or a terminal in that folder. So let me just open up git bash and bring that down, and then we just need to install our dependencies. So we're going to say npm install. Okay, and that's going to set up Bootstrap. It's going to install jQuery, Popper, and our dev dependencies, which is gulp, gulp sass, and browser sync. Alright, so once that's done, we should be able to just run npm start, and it should compile everything, and it should serve it in our browser, and that's it. So now we're ready to start on our project. So let's go ahead and open up a text editor. I'm using Atom, so I'm going to open up the Loop Lab project folder. Alright, and then if we go in our source, we want to open up index.html. This is our starting point. So first thing we're going to do is create the navbar. So I'm going to get rid of the h1 and the paragraph here. And from now on, I'm going to be using Emmet. So I'll do things like nav, nav.test if I want a class of test. If you're not using Emmet, just copy what the result is. All right, but I would suggest using Emmet. It makes things much quicker. So let's give this nav a class of navbar. We're also going to give it a class of navbar-expand-sm because we basically want it to change into the compact version on small screens. Okay, and then we're also going to add a couple color classes. We want to do bg-dark, and we want to do navbar-dark. All right, and then one more class of fixed top because I want it to always be fixed to the top. All right, now I'm using Emmet, so I'm going to hit tab, and it's going to give us a nav tag with all those classes. All right, so next thing we're going to want is a container because I want all of the content in the navbar to be constrained, although I want the actual navbar to go all the way across. So in here we're going to need a button, which will be our collapsible hamburger menu. So let's say button, we'll give it a class of navbar-toggler. All right, now this button is going to need a couple extra attributes, including data toggle, which will be set to collapse, and then we also need a data target, and we're going to set that to hash navbar collapse. All right, and then inside the button we just need a span with the class of navbar-toggler-icon. All right, so that's our button. It'll only be displayed on small screens since we did navbar expand small. So the next thing we're going to want is the branding or the logo area. So that'll be an A tag with the class of navbar-brand. We're going to have this go to index.html. And for the text, we're just going to say Loop Lab. So let's save it, and that's what it should look like so far. So we're going to need the UL, which is going to go inside of a div. So we need a div with the class of collapse, since we're using the collapsible button. It's also going to need a class of navbar-collapse. Okay, so in here, actually we need an ID as well. So the ID should match whatever you have here in the data target, which is navbar collapse. All right, and then we can have our UL, which will have a class of navbar-nav. It's also going to have a class of ML auto, so margin left auto. The reason I'm doing that is so that the links are pushed over to the right. All right, and then we'll have the list items. Remember, list items need to have a class of nav item. Okay, this is all stuff we learned in the sandbox. And then each A tag needs a class of nav link, like that. Now this is going to be a one-page theme where we're basically pointing links to IDs on the page. This is going to go to an ID called home, and we're going to give the body tag an ID of home because that's the topmost element and that's what we want it to go to. Alright, and then in here we'll just say home. So let's add a couple other links. I'm going to copy the LI. We'll have 3 more. The second one is going to be explore, and for the href it's going to go to explore dash head dash section. Okay, we're going to split everything up into sections. This one here is going to be create, and that's going to go to create dash head dash section, and then this final one is going to go to share, and this is going to be share dash head dash section. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that, and that's what it should look like. Alright, so we're going to add some styles now. So we want to go to our style SCSS file. Make sure you go to the SAS file because that's going to be compiled to regular CSS. And we're going to add some variables here. So we're going to have a variable called BG color, and we're going to set that to the hexadecimal 333, which is a very dark gray. We're going to set the font color variable to white. Okay. We're also going to have a primary color variable, which is going to be that bluish color. So that's going to be hexadecimal 008 ED6. Okay. And then what we'll do is add to the body the background, which is going to be the BG color variable. And then we have the color, so the text color, which is going to have the font color variable. Alright, so we'll save that. And let's see, why didn't that upload? Well, looks like... Let's check the log here, see what happened. So primary color... Looks like we have a SAS error somewhere. Oh, the hexadecimal isn't right. Forgot the E. So if you get an error in your SAS, you're going to get, you'll see the error in your command line, but it might stop the server. So now we'll just do npm start now that we fixed it. And now it starts back up, and you can see the body now has the dark color. Alright, so for the navbar, I want that to have a border on the bottom, a blue border. So let's go ahead and add our navbar class, and we're going to say border bottom. Set that to the primary color variable, and we want that to be 3 pixels solid. Alright, I'm also going to make it a little transparent, so we'll say opacity, we're going to set to 0.8, and we'll save, and there we go. Actually, you know what, that color is not correct. It should be 008 EDC. Oh, I'm sorry, ED6, not EDC. There we go. So that's the blue that I was looking for. Alright, so that's our navbar. So in the next video, we're going to get into the home section area, which is the giant image with the form on the right, the copy text on the left, and we'll get into that. So I will see you in the next video.